Metal wasn't ready for Slipknot.
We will come here and we will kill you!
Their music was violent. Their live shows felt like a cult ritual, and the band members were walking and talking horror movies. But beyond the shock factor, they redefined what metal could be.
Honestly, we were a precursor to what they called the new wave of American heavy metal.
In this video, we'll explore their history, their influence on metal, and why their legacy still stands strong today. In 1995, Des Moines, Iowa, famous for cornfields, boredom, and absolutely nothing else, gave birth to Slipknot. Slipknot wasn't some slick marketing gimmick spat out by a corporate boardroom. No, it was 4 pissed-off musicians sweating out their frustrations in Iowa's bleak suburban wasteland. Sean Crahan banging on percussion, Paul Gray keeping rhythm on bass, Anders Kolsefny yelling into the mic, and Donnie Steele on guitar. Back then they called themselves the Pale Ones. Then a guy named Joey Jordison showed up, joined the band, and took over the drums, freeing Crahan to unleash absolute madness on extra percussion. In those early days, Slipknot was still figuring out who they wanted to be.
But I never wanted to be a radio star.
Yeah.
I wanted to put on good shows, and I wanted to have power, and I wanted people to be able to release all their pent up shit from their week. Everybody got shit fucking lives with their jobs and shit. Get rid of it. Throw it out. Yell it out to me. Let me have it. Let me swallow your fucking pain so I can regurgitate it out. And that's the big thing about it for me, is I just love watching people enjoy this stuff and getting rid of all their negativity.
Exercise those demons.
Yes.
Since the start, the band wore masks and makeup, looking more like extras from a horror movie than musicians. To them, this was more than branding. It was visual terrorism cooked up by Sean Crahan and the crew as a giant middle finger to every boring band in matching leather jackets. Shortly after, Jordison suggested renaming the band to Slipknot, inspired by one of their early songs to better reflect their evolving musical direction. In 1996, Slipknot was restless, always shifting members, always hungry for something sharper. They put out a messy demo, rough but powerful, titled Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat, a snapshot of chaos still forming. Yet, even with that energy, they weren't finished tinkering. They needed more intensity. Something even darker and more visceral. The band's quest for a unique sound took a huge leap when vocalist Corey Taylor stepped in 1997. Taylor screamed, snarled, and spat raw emotion into the microphone, instantly pushing out their original vocalist Anders Kolsefny.
So right now I have no regrets. Back then, yeah, a little bit. It was hard to take for a while, but got over it like everything else, you know.
It's kind of like if we would have just stuck with this style, the weirdness and all that, instead of trying to make it more of a, what Roadrunner did.
Yeah.
I don't know how it would have turned out. I can't even imagine, I know it wouldn't have turned out that way if Corey hadn't joined, because, people are not receptive to growly vocals in a lot of cases. It's a select group of metalheads that like the growling.
With Taylor leading the band, Slipknot went full Psycho Circus. They strapped themselves into numbered jumpsuits like escaped inmates from some Midwestern insane asylum, and chose masks that looked like Halloween gone horribly wrong. Each member crafted their own warped alter ego, making the band look less like musicians and more like serial killers who decided music paid better.
I joined in '97, and then by the time that Jim joined, we had just started to get into the whole coveralls idea, because we wanted to be, you know, I mean, we were all individuals, but we also wanted to look like a unit. It kind of went hand in hand with the whole numbers thing, you know, where it was basically going against every philosophy that people thought they knew about the music industry. You know, it's like, you don't get my name, you get this number. You don't get my face, you get this mask.
Slipknot's 1999 debut was a Molotov cocktail of rage, noise, and primordial chaos. Every track hit like a sledgehammer, feral drumming, throat-shredding screams, and lyrics that felt like an open wound. The drumming felt like panic attacks set to rhythm. The vocals sounded like someone ripping their own throat out. It was a full-blown assault. Fans felt the anger, the frustration, and the sheer need to scream, and they embraced it like gospel. Critics couldn't ignore it. This was nu metal infused with industrial grit and classic heavy metal brutality, and it hit hard. Standout tracks like Wait and Bleed, with its memorable chorus, I felt the hate rise up in me, kneel down and clear the stone of leaves. I wander out where you can't see. Inside my shell, I wait and bleed. Became an anthem reflecting inner turmoil and emotional desperation. The track blew up, dragging the band out of the underground and straight into mainstream chaos. By 2001, it earned them their first Grammy nomination for Best Metal Performance.
Good to see you. Hi, everybody. Gather round. I feel just a little underdressed. Oh, excuse me, got a little... I'm making him laugh. How are you?
I'm good, man.
Very intimidating with that mask on.
Thank you.
I have a feeling you're gonna...
More importantly, it put Slipknot on the map for an entirely new audience. People who had never heard anything this raw, this unhinged, this real. The band's follow-up album, Iowa, cemented their reputation. Its heavier, darker sound reflected internal band tensions and personal struggles, making it one of the most brutal yet revered metal albums of the era. If you want the full story, I've got a whole video on it. Check it out later. For the purpose of this video, I won't go as deep into this album. Thing is, following the success of their debut album, Slipknot found themselves thrust into the spotlight with expectations mounting for their next release. The band members grappled with fame, addiction, and interpersonal tensions, all of which would percolate into the music and themes of Iowa.
We fought every cliche leading up to getting signed and going out and playing shows. And then all of a sudden, we had everything. We had double platinum album, we're one of the biggest metal bands in the world. We were headlining because nobody wanted us to open for them.
Very true.
And we were making a hugely anticipated album. So we just started getting fucked up because we were from Iowa and we were crazy people, you know? So in a way, it was a pitfall that we fell into, and then slowly but surely we kind of tried to pull ourselves out of it. And sometimes it's hard, you know, especially when you're, you know, hitting the shit as hard as we were, you know? I mean, because we were working hard, we were playing hard, we were just crazy hard.
Tracks like People Equal Shit, Disaster Piece, and the Heretic Anthem demonstrated Slipknot's capacity to channel personal and collective angst into powerful musical expression. People called Iowa a masterpiece of brutality, and they weren't wrong. Fans and critics praised its raw power, calling it the ultimate display of Slipknot's intensity. The album proved they weren't afraid to push metal to its limits while staying true to their sound. Again, if you want to dive deep into this album and its absurd history, check out this other video later. Slipknot had nothing left to prove when they dropped Volume 3. So they did the most dangerous thing possible. They experimented. Instead of sticking to pure aggression, they wove in haunting melodies, eerie acoustics, and even clean singing. It was a risk and not everyone loved it. But it showed something undeniable. Slipknot wasn't just loud and angry, they were also truly creative. Produced by Rick Rubin, renowned for his work across diverse musical genres, the album featured polished production and highlighted the band's willingness to experiment beyond their established aggressive sound. Singles such as Duality with its memorable opening line, "I push my fingers into my eyes. It's the only thing that slowly stops the ache," captured listeners with its potent blend of melody and intensity. Before I Forget further displayed Slipknot's ability to deliver catchy, radio-friendly hooks without sacrificing their heavy roots, ultimately earning them a Grammy Award for Best Metal Performance in 2006. However, Volume 3 proved divisive among longtime fans. While some appreciated the experimental approach and greater melodic focus, others felt it strayed too far from the aggressive roots of their first two albums, sparking debates that continue among Slipknot's audience today. The album featured guitar solos, acoustic tracks, and a high dose of melodic singing, marking a departure from their earlier, more aggressive sound. This stylistic change led some fans to accuse the band of selling out or abandoning their original intensity. Additionally, tracks like Circle and Vermilion Part 2 showcased a softer, more introspective side of the band, further fueling the debate among fans regarding the band's evolving musical direction. To this day, Volume 3 is one of the most polarizing albums in their discography. Metal had rules. Slipknot burned them. Musically, their integration of aggressive riffs, percussive complexity, and electronic samples redefined the possibilities within metal, blending traditional metal intensity with innovative elements drawn from industrial music and alternative rock. Their extensive percussion setup involving multiple percussionists, notably Joey Jordison, Sean Crahan, and Chris Fenn, created a distinctive rhythmic complexity that became a hallmark of their sound. Furthermore, the use of turntables by Sid Wilson added another unconventional layer, pushing the boundaries of what was considered acceptable within traditional metal circles. When performing live, Slipknot didn't just play their instruments. They unleashed rituals, the masks, the jumpsuits, and the sheer chaos pulled fans into something bigger, something primal, something that felt truly dangerous and unpredictable. A Slipknot show was more than a concert. It felt like an exorcism, a way for the band to face their inner demons and let them free. And at the end of the day, their energy and their brutal presence set a new standard for heavy metal concerts, inspiring a wave of bands to turn their performances into full-blown experiences. Bands such as Bring Me the Horizon, Motionless in White, and Parkway Drive have openly cited Slipknot as a significant influence, both musically and visually. In the late 90s, metal was gasping for air, drowned out by pop, hip-hop, and electronic beats. Then came Slipknot, swinging like a wrecking ball. Their raw aggression and undeniable presence brought heavy music back into the mainstream, earning media attention and commercial success. More importantly, they paved the way for a new generation of metal bands to break through, proving that metal wasn't dead, it just needed a new face. But their impact goes beyond music. For fans, Slipknot became a cultural movement, symbols of individuality and rebellion defining a subculture. More importantly, they were a voice for those who felt unheard and misunderstood.
Limp Bizkit, somebody in Limp Bizkit had the audacity to say to one of our good friends, who's a very reliable source, that Slipknot fans are nothing but a bunch of fat, ugly kids. You know what? Hold on a second. You know what I said to that? Hold on a second. Hold on. I want to tell you what I said to that. One, I'm a fat, ugly kid. 2,
Slipknot's success wasn't just about record sales or awards, it was payback. Every Grammy, every platinum plaque was a revenge for every kid who got mocked for being different. The weirdos, the outcasts, the ones who blasted heavy music when the world told them to fit in, Slipknot won for them. And in doing so, they proved that metal wasn't just noise, it was important. Slipknot battled the industry and won, but they also battled loss. The deaths of key members shook the band to its core, leaving wounds that never fully healed. In 2010, bassist Paul Gray died unexpectedly due to an accidental overdose involving morphine and fentanyl, which was compounded by underlying heart disease.
Yesterday we lost our brother. And the world seems a little smaller because of it. He had the biggest heart of anyone I've ever known. And he had the greatest soul I've ever had the privilege to know.
His death deeply shocked the band, as Gray was a central creative figure whose songwriting and melodic contributions significantly shaped Slipknot's identity. His influence and memory became a guiding force behind the band's emotionally charged and introspective album, 5: The Gray Chapter, released in 2014, named in his honor and exploring themes of loss, mourning, and recovery. In 2021, Slipknot suffered yet another devastating loss with the death of Joey Jordison at age 46. Jordison, known for his exceptional technical ability and relentless energy, had been a cornerstone of the band's explosive rhythmic style. His departure from the band in 2013 had already been deeply felt by fans and fellow musicians alike, but his unexpected passing intensified this loss. Together, these losses marked profound turning points for Slipknot, deeply affecting the band's trajectory and emotional depth in subsequent music and performances. We Are Not Your Kind and The End So Far weren't just albums, they were statements. Proof that no matter how much they lose, how much pain they carry, they still deliver. Slipknot has been knocked down, ripped apart, and left bleeding, but they refuse to die. Love them or hate them, Slipknot carved their name into metal history, and there's no erasing it.